I love football.
I bloody love football. Don't I?
Back of the net.
You're very welcome along to the DLR Wave Show. It's at PostToPost.Sport on Twitter and Instagram. Get in touch with us. Who would you like to see on the show? And remember, we'll be at most of the home games anyway at the UCD Bell. So if you see us, give us a wave. We have Kate Mooney with us. Kate, thanks for coming on. You've actually been in high demand to come on the show. Every time we put up a poll saying who would you like to come on the show, or every time we ask who would you like to come on, you're always in demand. So there's a bit of pressure on here. This better be a good interview.
God, I'm feeling the pressure. Thank you for having me, though.
How's recovery going there? You were back in the squad, and I believe you were playing for the under-19s as well on the weekend. So you're kind of getting back after it after you had a lengthy injury and then you had another knock. So you're kind of getting back to it now.
Yeah, I found coming back from the ACL was kind of a bit tough. I had to be a lot patient. I had to have a lot of patience, sorry. But then I got another knock, which is kind of normal after coming back from an ACL. So it kind of just hit me hard, and I was out for longer than I expected. I was out for 4 or 5 weeks there, just with a ligament issue on my foot. But I couldn't actually be more thankful for Laura for helping me and playing for the 19s. It's just really helped kind of get game fitness, and I think it's brilliant that I have the opportunity to be able to go down and play with them, and they're an amazing squad. And it's just really helped me kind of be able to get back to myself after being out for so long. Because I actually didn't think it would be this hard kind of coming back. I thought I had the hard stuff done, but it was actually really hard coming back from the ACL. Yeah. And I still am recovering, so I kind of have to just take it easy on myself sometimes, because I have been known to kind of rush myself and push myself a little bit too hard. So it's a good lesson to learn, I suppose.
Yeah, it is a big injury. Like, it's not one you can just shake off. It seems from talking to other people. Obviously, it happened quite early in your DLR Waves career. I think it was the second or third game of the season it happened. So the second or third home game of the season, you actually scored in that game as well. So it was kind of a sudden turn. I imagine it was kind of as much of a mental battle as a physical battle.
Yeah, definitely. I think for myself, I actually recovered quicker than most people. So physically, I was doing really well. So it was kind of mentally where the hardship was kind of throughout the injury. But yeah, it was just my second game with DLR, and it was just I just have the worst luck in the world, to be honest. But I am glad I scored in that game. Kind of still shows what I can do, and hopefully I can kind of bring it into this season if I still have it, which I think I do. So.
Yeah, when we were looking for our Player of the Year award, someone pointed out it was a 10 out of 10 performance, so you deserved one of the Player of the Year awards. You didn't put a foot wrong, in fairness. Yeah, it's now that you are back. I mean, I'm not an athlete. I've never played at a high level, but from talking to people, it seems like it can be a balance act coming back. You don't want to rush, but at the same time, you can't be holding back when you're playing because you're more likely to get another injury. So it seems as though you have to be very conscious of things like that when you're playing as well.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of remember my first few sessions coming back. Everyone was kind of like saying that I was kind of scared going in for tackles, and I've never been one to shy away from a tackle. So I think that was a lot for me to deal with, just to get the first tackle in and to know that my knee is healthy and it's safe and I'm strong, and that kind of took me a while, but now I find myself going in for tackles, and I'm I think 2 months back playing, so I think 2 or 3 months, so it did take a while for me to get that first tackle in, and I kind of do find myself when I see other tackles I'm like wincing and I'm like, oh God. So there is a bit of a fear factor, but it just takes time, and it just takes putting yourself out there and knowing that you're strong. So mentally it's a lot. I kind of just have to keep reminding myself that I'm strong, I'm fit, and I'm healthy, and it will never happen again. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I suppose it's not something that's easy to get over, but at the same time, it's probably, like you said there, no point lingering on it. I mean, you just have to go out there and play like you never had stopped playing. You're mainly you were talking there a bit before we started recording you're mainly a striker, but you also play in other positions. What's your preferred position on the pitch?
Yeah, I definitely think striker. I like being the target man or woman up top. But I do enjoy the 10 because I like getting on the ball. I like creating. I like doing a lot of stuff, and I also played on the wing a bit. For Shells, I think it was left wing and left back there, so I kind of have a good experience everywhere on the pitch. And I honestly, once I'm playing, I'm happy. So if I'm out there in any position, I'll try and give my all. But I think striker, yeah. I kind of know that the best. I think that suits me very well.
Were you always a forward player when you were playing growing up, or were you kind of going wherever you needed to go?
Growing up, I was a midfielder. Actually, I was a midfielder, winger, striker. So yeah, very kind of forward roles. And then actually, when I signed for Shells, my first season, I was a centre back with Pro.
Oh.
That was my first game there. So I was a centre back for I think 1 or 2 seasons, and then I went to a left back, and I was playing right back, and I was kind of anywhere. And then I think it was Sean Maher that came to Shells, and he kind of taught me how to be a striker, and I definitely just I think I had 6 goals in 5 games there, and I was just like, no, this is my position now. It was kind of hard for me to figure out my position, but I think after that season, I knew I was definitely more of an attacking role than a defensive one.
Yeah, they're very different positions, I imagine. Were you the kind of centre back who liked to get forward?
Yeah, I was definitely one that was dribbling out of the box, and everyone was telling me to come back. But I think I was definitely more in a defensive position because I was just brave. I'd get into a tackle anywhere. I'd get my head in front of any ball. So I think that's why they put me in a defensive role, and I was a very brave 16-year-old.
Yeah. I'd say you have to be playing as a centre back for Shelburne. And in terms of the striker role, what challenges would you say are in the striker role? We were talking about there. If you're kind of a target player, it can be hard if you don't have much of the ball. But you were saying you like to drop back into that number 10 as well sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I think the hardest part of being a striker, if you're not getting much of the ball, is basically you're not getting the ball. So you kind of have to try and do something and create and be imaginative and get on the ball or make runs, or you're constantly kind of making runs, trying getting in behind the defenders, which can be very tiring, and you're chasing for half the game. But as a striker, the way that DLR play, you kind of have to pick and choose when to come in and get the ball, and when to know when you're dragging the defenders in, and you just have to kind of play smart in them games. But I definitely find in them games I would rather play in the 10 because I'd like to get us playing.
Yeah.
And get us kind of up the pitch a bit more.
What strikers do you look at in the world of football, whether it's women's or men's, as your kind of inspirations?
Yeah, I think definitely in this Champions League run anyways, Benzema, I've been looking at him, and from looking at him, he's everywhere on the pitch. And it's great to see that a striker's kind of just literally everywhere. They're not just stuck kind of up top waiting for a ball, which can be very good for like the likes of Lewandowski and stuff like that. So I kind of look at them too, Benzema, Lewandowski, and Bobby Firmino as well actually for Liverpool. I think he's very good.
It's interesting you mentioned Firmino there because he's kind of a slightly different role. He's not there to score goals as much. He's more there when Mane and Salah are either side of him. He's more there to kind of provide them with the goal and almost hold up the ball. So it's kind of a slightly different role. Yeah,
he's kind of like a false 9, which is the kind of role I'd like to play if I was in kind of the 10, which I kind of like.
Yeah. So we have Benzema, Lewandowski, Firmino, and Kate Mooney. Okay. You mentioned our Liverpool. You mentioned you're a Liverpool supporter. It's been a good season for Liverpool. Look, gonna end with at least 1 trophy. Could be 2 this weekend. I know your match kind of overlaps with the FA Cup final, so you mightn't get to see it. But it's and then a Premier League running and a Champions League. So anywhere between 1 and 4 trophies.
Yeah, I'd be happy with whatever. I think Champions League is the one thing that I'd want the most. If we can get Premier League, I'd be very happy, but I don't know. It kind of doesn't seem likely. But one can hope, anyways.
Yeah. I think it's many will know I'm a Charlton Athletic supporter. I think you're having a better season than us. In terms of the women's team as well, winning the championship, getting promotion to the Women's Super League. They're doing quite well. Leanne Kiernan's doing pretty good as well, and as is Niamh Fahey. So some good Irish stuff going in the Liverpool women's team.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see, and I'm a good friend with Leanne, so it's just so good to see her doing well after a tough season at West Ham, and she's kind of had a lengthy injury as well. So it's really good to see someone coming back and having the season that she had. Kind of gives me hope for mine, but yeah. It's really good to see Irish people over in England. It kind of gives you hope.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a lot. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the league is an amateur league. It's strange calling it an amateur league. The women's national league. It's strange calling it an amateur league because it's basically any players I talk to. It seems like it's basically a full-time job on top of another full-time job or college. But at the end of the day, you can't begrudge players turning pro and going somewhere else, but it would be great if we had at least a semi-professional league here, or ultimately a professional league. And they're talking about by 2025 adding a second tier, so we'll maybe have 2 leagues of 8 or something. So the league is certainly growing, and hopefully it continues to do so.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. And as well, the 19th league, like when I go down and play with them, there's not much difference from the senior league. Like playing against Rovers there, it was a tough game. There's some quality players in that 19th league which will only come up, and hopefully we can get a second league. And I think it would only be brilliant for us to get that semi-pro kind of. Hopefully we can get there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we ask every DLR Waves player. We ask them who's the best with music, and they all say you. They all say DJ Kate Mooney is the best with music. What kind of music are you putting on in the changing rooms before the games?
I think it's actually Katie Malone that's on the DJ set, but I just put on dancing music, whatever is kind of good at the moment, but they're all winding me up. I actually am a good singer or a good DJ.
Well, we've been told you're a good singer, so whenever you're ready, please do.
No. You know what? If we win the league, that's when I'll sing.
Okay, good. Okay, we'll get you back. We'll get you back on if you.
Yeah, 100%, and I will sing any song.
Okay, good.
No problem.
We'll pick something. We've all been told. Honestly, you're quite good with picking the music. Is that not your role in the squad?
I just get the bananas and I pretend it to be a DJ set, and I just make the girls laugh. That was my role when I was injured, so that's where they got it from.
Okay, good. Well, we'll try to get a few bananas at some stage during the season for you. We'll try to donate a few bananas to the squad. But we've asked everyone if they can take 3 players to a desert island. A good few people have said you for entertainment values. So you can interpret this whatever way you want. I will say, don't worry about it interrupting the season or interrupting training. You're not going to miss a game. You're not going to miss a game for being on the desert island. So don't worry about that. We'll rearrange things. But you can take 3 players to a desert island, 3 teammates to a desert island. Who are you taking with you?
Oh God, I'm gonna get sick for this. I trainer now. I feel bad not picking the players that said me now, but I'll definitely have to take Lynn because that girl has to be everywhere that I am. She's my rock. And then I would pick probably Eve because she's very, very intelligent. I don't understand half the words the girl said, so she's very, very intelligent, and I feel like she can get us out of a lot of sticky situations. And then I'll probably have to take Jess Gleeson as well, because she's big and strong.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, you're not the first person to point out that no one would mess with Jess Gleeson. I wouldn't mess with
Jess
Gleeson.
No, either would I.
Yeah. Fairest, I wouldn't mess with any of you because I think you're all taller than me, really. Except Rachel. That's why she's my favourite player. Shout out to Rachel Lowe. It's I'm glad you answered the desert island question without ruining it like some people did. We won't go into that one, but look, it's been a pretty good season so far. I think there have been ups and downs. I mean, obviously that win against Shelburne was incredible, and then and then a few days later, obviously a disappointing result against Athlone. But it certainly hasn't been a bad season. There's certainly been a lot of highlights. What do you make of the season so far?
Yeah, I think so far there's been really, really good parts, and especially against Shells. And I think actually just playing against Wexford, like we played very well. And I think it's kind of been a season of ups and downs so far. So I think for us right now is just trying to get that consistency, and like we know we can beat the top three. Like we beat Shells, we played them off the park. So I hope that we can bring that into like each game and just kind of move on and see what we can do, because I really do believe that we could win the league if we just kind of get our consistency, and if we play football the way that we know we can play, and don't kind of revert to like other team standards and stuff like that, and just kind of not drop our levels. I think that's kind of a massive thing that we kind of do when we play other teams, is we kind of drop our standards, which we should only raise our standards when playing them teams. So I think if we could just get the consistency, I don't see why we couldn't get top three or possibly go and win it with some luck. So yeah.
Yeah, that top three would be big. Last season was all about finishing in the top four, and you did that quite comfortably in the end. So I imagine that's the minimum now, is finish that fourth place. Don't go any lower than fourth. You find yourself fifth at the moment, behind Athlone, who are having a fantastic season. We saw Laurie Ryan be awarded Player of the Month there for a great month, and it's a tough league. I mean, like we've seen Sligo, who you play this weekend, come in. They're probably one of the best new teams in the league. We've seen the likes of Bowes and Athlone really improve. It's not easy. There's no easy games.
Yeah, no, not at all. No, it's really good. It's a really good battle every week, and that's what you want. You don't want to go out and play and be like, oh, well, this will be an easy game. Like, no, I've never ever said that about any team. No team in this league is easy to play against. So it's really, really good for the development of the league and for players.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's the message now going into the Sligo game on the weekend?
I think if we know that we've beat them before, and I feel like we just need to be confident and believe in ourselves and play our football really, and it's simple as that. Just keep the ball on the deck and just play around, play the football that we know we can play. It's as simple as that really. Just if we make it difficult, that's when it will kind of start going downhill, when it's kind of just a simple way to play football.
Yeah, and the early game in the season, I think it was the second or third game of the season. 3-0 win, good result, and they weren't bad in that game. Sligo, I think it was only one of their first games of the season, and 3-0 looks like a good scoreline, but at the same time they had their chances when it was 1-0, so they're certainly going to be up for this game.
Yeah, exactly, and they have an amazing support, and the support outside of the team is what really drives on teams, and it helps them a lot. So I think we kind of have to take that into consideration. They're going to be well up for this game, and they're going to believe that they can win this. So we need to be very compact and just believe that if they are starting to frustrate us, that we need to keep the heads and know that if we just keep playing football, we will get a goal or two and hopefully win the game. But it is going to be a tough game. But I'm excited for it. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, I suppose you want a challenge. You want the games to be difficult, to improve the standard of the league.
Exactly. Yeah.
How did you end up playing for DLR Waves? You've been around the league a little bit. How did you end up coming to DLR Waves?
Yeah, so I think it was actually 3 seasons ago that Graham gave me a call, and I think I was under Dave Bell at Shells at the time, and he rang me and he asked me to sign, and he said that he'd just kind of been looking at me for a while and he was just interested, and I actually stayed on for Shells that season, but I was very very much interested in seeing where DLR could go as a team. So I think when he rang again the following season, I was well up for it. I kind of just left for personal reasons and just to kind of get more game time, and I just felt like, I think I was 21 at the time, and I was just like, I wasn't getting as much game time as I would have liked, and I think I was kind of playing out in the wing, whereas I would have rather to kind of be on in the striker role, and that's kind of where Graham said that he seen me most, and so it was an easy decision, to be honest, just purely for game time, and just kind of be happy with my football, and then but I really did enjoy my time at Shells, and it was brilliant for my development as a footballer. But yeah, I think it was just to kind of get myself to where I am today, and yeah, it was a good decision.
Were you always going to be a footballer growing up? Were you always into your football?
Yeah, definitely. I think I've there's so many pictures of me with a football in my hand at any age when I was growing up. But yeah, I think there was no other sport in my eyes. It was all football. I was mad about it.
Were you from a football family?
Yeah, I think my granddad played for Dundalk and Drogheda and stuff like that. So my mum played as well. But yeah, definitely a big footballing family. All my granddads and stuff like that. So it's in the family somewhere.
Yeah, so you didn't really have a choice at the end of it. Football chose you.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Kate, thanks very much for coming on the show, and hopefully we'll get to hear you sing at some stage, because I have to restructure the whole podcast there in the middle of it because you wouldn't sing. But hopefully someday. But thanks very much, and good luck on the weekend.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's at PostToPost.Sport on Twitter and Instagram. And remember, we're doing our fundraiser for As I Am Ireland. We're raising money all the way till the end of November. I think the last week of November is when the fundraiser ends. So we're doing this great cause. It's Ireland's National Autism Charity. We completed our physical challenge there. It was 100 squats every day for a week with a 25 kg sandbag. Kate, how many squats do you do?
I can't do more.
Okay, not 100 anyway. Okay, so there you go. It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. Especially because the sandbag was nearly bigger than me. But we'll be doing more challenges throughout the season. When we get to €1,000, the Mohawks being dyed green. So you can donate there on PostToPost.Sport.Blog, or you can go onto our Instagram, our Twitter, and find the link there. Thanks very much for listening, and we'll see you next week.